What's up there, LEGO fans? Welcome back. Alex here. Man, I am sorry I'm so late on this video. I've been busy building sets. There's been a lot of amazing Formula One sets coming out, and I am digging it. And now, finally, let's go ahead and talk about these new 1/8 scale Technic race cars, the Red Bull and the Ferrari. So obviously these guys already came out as of the 1st of March. They are $230 each, and they are both very impressive models. Josh and I were able to put these together. He built the Ferrari, I built the Red Bull. I asked Josh to be in this video if you're wondering where he is, and he declined. He's busy doing something, so you're stuck with me. You won't have Josh's commentary, but that's okay. I will do my best to cover for him, okay? Now, before I talk about these two brand new race cars, I want to take you guys back in time, 25 years to be exact. Back in 2000, LEGO came out with a Technic race car called the Silver Champion. And that was the first 1/8 scale F1 car without any kind of team affiliation. 2 years later, we got the Williams. And then after that, we got the Ferrari in 2005. And I call those cars the original trilogy. But now, we have these four modern cars and arguably the four best teams on the grid as of right now. So we have the McLaren that came out, and when this came out, it blew my mind. I went, oh my goodness, look at that. It's beautiful. It's like a more complete car. They have really upped their game. And then a little later, we got, of course, the Mercedes right here, and that was a massive upgrade. But now, now we have the Red Bull and the Ferrari. Very, very nice. Now, before I get into the comparison with these more modern ones, I thought it'd be kind of fun to bring up the 2005 Ferrari and compare it to this new one, because this is an interesting comparison. These are 20 years apart. That is a very long time. And as I put these things together, I went, wow, I cannot believe how different these things are. I thought that old Ferrari was cool, and it is cool. It is very, very cool. But when I look at this new car, it is amazing to see how far LEGO has come with their Technic vehicles. They don't even look like Technic anymore. They actually remind me a lot of the old model team for the 90s because they're so complete, but they're not brick built. They are built with Technic elements. But I digress. Let's go back to this comparison with the old Ferrari. So the first thing you're going to notice that is the old Ferrari is very wide. I mean, the cars were a bit wider. They get kind of more narrow and longer as time goes on, it seems, generally speaking. But that really stuck out to me. And obviously, the big upgrade in detail with this new Ferrari is no joke. It is pretty incredible. Now, the one thing that's really disappointing when I do compare these things with each other is the fact that despite the evolution of all these years, of all these decades, LEGO still will not give us the fat rear tires. I don't understand why it is so difficult. They did it with the Speed Champions. And here we have the 1/8 scale Technic cars, arguably the most detailed you can get with these things. And still, we get the skinnies on the back, just like we do in the front. That, in my opinion, is the biggest miss with these new vehicles. Other than that, they look fantastic. But anyway, kind of fun to see that evolution from that, from many, many years ago. Just for fun, I did want to see how the new Ferrari looked with those wider tires, because those are wider on that 2005 Ferrari. So I did my best and I adapted them on there, and I gotta say, it looks cool. Now, if you can look past the fact that you have the lining in those tires, and just imagine it as a slick. Wow, it looks tough, and you can just see the missed opportunity to give us proper rear racing slicks. Now let's take a look at these guys here and the comparison with these more modern sets. Instructions. Both of them have one thick instruction booklet. There is some cool information and pictures here at the front, and then you're on into the build. I never actually go back and look at these or read these after I've gone through and built the set, but it's still pretty cool that they give us that information there as well. Now, despite the fact that we don't get the fat rear tires, there are amazing upgrades we're getting with these new vehicles. So we're going to kind of compare it to the McLaren. Now, I'm going to be trashing the McLaren a little bit here. It's not my intention to. It is a fantastic car, don't get me wrong, but when we compare it to the new ones, you can really see the more modern day evolution that we're seeing. And a lot of that is going to be, of course, in the front wing. When we look at the front wing of the McLaren, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. We're getting more detailed. But then we went to the front wing of the Mercedes and I went, whoa, huge upgrade. And that continued on, of course, with the Red Bull and the Ferrari. They just look really good and very realistic to those very dynamic and complex front wings, and also kind of delicate front wings there as well. What about the DRS system? Well, the McLaren here had a pretty weak DRS system, not a lot going on here, but that was massively improved, of course, with the Mercedes there, a lot more realistic, and that, of course, continued on with the Red Bull and the Ferrari. Of course, these are really slick, look very, very similar to the real DRS system or drag reduction system in these cars. As they go down a straight line, these things open up to reduce drag and have them go really, really fast until they get to a corner, drops down, puts that weight down, and it helps them brake into those corners. Another big upgrade is hand of God steering. So the McLaren did not have hand of God steering at all. It was from the cockpit that you had to steer it. In fact, the turning radius really wasn't there either for it. Now, when we go to the Mercedes, it does have hand of God steering, but it is not power steering at all. It's very, very rigid, hard to move it unless you're moving the car back and forth to kind of see those wheels. You're like, what is going on? Did I build it wrong? But that's very, very stiff. However, when we go to the Red Bull and the Ferrari, it's like it's got power steering. It is so smooth like butter, you guys. I love it, and it's in both of them as well. And not only that, but the turning radius in the Ferrari and Red Bull are a lot better than their predecessors there as well. The next comparison is suspension. The McLaren suffered immensely from lack of suspension. Even though it has the suspension built into it, the pushrod suspension, there's just no suspension travel. It's already, okay, listen to this. Okay, I'm not even pushing down. It's scraping. That's how low this thing is. There's just no suspension travel. Very, very little in the front. It's like a big miss with how that worked. We go to the Mercedes. Now, the Mercedes is better. It has a little bit of suspension travel, and not bad, but that is also something that is massively improved in the Red Bull and the Ferrari here. It's almost like the rally cars with the amount of suspension travel that they have here, especially at the back as you push down. That is just beautiful to see. And the Ferrari as well, just really easy. You just want to keep playing with the suspension, just pushing them up and down. It's really fun to see that work. And what's also cool about these is that they actually have either pull rod or push rod, and it's opposite in these vehicles. So I think, let me look here at the Red Bull. So at the front here, it's pull rod, and at the back, it's push rod, and it's the opposite. In the back, it's pull, and in the front, it's push. And I think that was pretty cool that they actually went and made sure that they matched that with the actual cars. That is pretty neat. The next one is also pretty significant because it's the ability to look inside and view the engine. The McLaren here doesn't have any ability to remove any paneling. We have a window here which bugs the heck out of me because I don't want to see the engine sticking out of the side pods here. But they do that for playability. So you're like, hey, look at the little pistons moving up and down. Cool. The Mercedes, though, this actually has a removable panel, and we can see that V6 engine. Remember, these are all V6 hybrids, right? They're turbo powered, and we're in the hybrid era, right? Those old ones, the original trilogy, those all have V10s in them. Those are the days, right? Those sounds of those engines. Ooh, and these are cool too, don't get me wrong, but those V10s and V12s of the past. Oh yeah, I digress. Let's get back here. But unfortunately, when we look at how the engine is connected to the rear differential, there is no gearbox, nothing there. It is a direct connect, nothing in between. But that all changes, you guys, when we look at the Red Bull and the Ferrari. And I couldn't believe it when I saw it, but here it is. So look under the Red Bull, and there is a very, well, it's a gearbox. It's a small gearbox, but we have a neutral here in the middle, and we can switch gears to a high gear and a low gear. And I thought, wow, that is cool. They're evolving. They're actually able to put a bit of a gearbox in here. And there's new piston elements in there as well, a little bit more realistic, which I can definitely appreciate. And the Ferrari, likewise, has this as well. The panel comes off, and we see the shifter there. But what's neat about the Ferrari, well, it does the same thing with that neutral and high and low gear, is that when we have the panel on it, we can still shift the gear, whereas the Red Bull, we have to take off the rear panel to get to it, to switch those gears from high, neutral, and low. So that is a comparison to its predecessors. When we look at them side by side, they are just really pretty to look at. They're pretty cars, and there's not a lot of gaps anymore. I love the detail, the attention to detail. There's gonna be a lot of stickers. There's just no getting around that. Both of them, I think, had 2 sheets of stickers here, so you're not gonna get around that. But as you can see, it does help with the detail, but gosh, I just wish Lego would go all in with just printed elements, but I think we're still very far away from that. So that is a quick look at the new Formula 1 1/8 scale cars of the Red Bull and the Ferrari, as well as a fun little comparison to its predecessors. A big thank you to the Lego Group for providing me these early copies for review. They were a blast to build. Josh said he did enjoy the Ferrari. In fact, he's not going to let me take the Ferrari downstairs next to the other ones. He wants this in his room, which is fine with me. He's a big Ferrari fan, and that begs the question, you guys. Obviously, I want to know what you guys think about these, but I also want to know, for you Formula One fans, who's going to win the Constructors' Championship, and who is going to win the Drivers' Championship? Will it be, once again, Max Verstappen, or will Ferrari pose a challenge with Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari? Still looks a little weird, doesn't it? But that is what we have here, guys. Also, McLaren did win the Constructors last year, so they're in there too, guys, so don't forget them. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one, and we look forward to the first race of the 2025 season here coming up soon in Australia. Looking forward to it. We'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.